Hello everyone, Maryann here, revealing light, tarot, astrology and spirituality wherever you are in the world. When you're watching, a huge shout out to you. Thank you all for your likes, your comments and subscriptions. Welcome to new subscribers, and thank you to my I won't say older, but my existing subscribers. Okay, many of whom have been here since the start for years and years and years, it seems. Okay, so one of the things I want to just start with, we'll get straight into the reading, but I do want to say that in the last reading I looked at a financial scandal coming up for the president, current president of the US, and one of the things we talked about was the plane. It turns out now that this plane from Qatar wasn't so much a gift as a kind of, his team approached them for the plane. So what does that mean? You give us this in return for whatever deals we're going to give you. In turned out to be weaponry, AI chips, an AI data center, all of that. It turned out to be like a shakedown. Some people would go further and say this is extortion, certainly a violation of the emoluments clauses. So I just want to say that that's simmering away in the background. Is that the financial scandal that I saw? I think there's more to it. What we have now today is the bond market spiraling again, the US bond market spiraling again. Some are posing the question, will it actually collapse? What's causing this spiral is the ballooning deficit, the $5 trillion that the budget will add, the US budget currently being negotiated in Congress will add to the current US deficit. Now, you would all know that Moody's has downgraded the financial credentials of the US, and this is because of the high deficit, and really questions around, well, would they ever default? Can they service that debt? So adding to it at this time, combined with the tariffs, combined with the chaotic nature of the current government, is causing investors to think twice about taking on US debt. And that's very significant. Will the Congress act responsibly and go against the current president? They're doing the budget process through reconciliation, which means that they don't need any Democratic Party votes, be it on the Republicans. I did predict the budget would get through, but with changes, we'll take another look at that. Two main, there's more than two. We have the tax cuts for the wealthy, but we also have Medicaid. I'm just going to call them cuts because there are new, as I predicted months ago, new work requirements, very, very stringent work requirements that some people won't be able to meet. If you've got a family, your youngest child's over 7, but you're caring for elderly relatives, you maybe have a disabled child at home, whatever your situation is, and you can't go to work, what are you likely to do? Just drop the Medicaid cover. I want to see how the budget will impact on the poor. There's also big changes to the SNAP program, which provides free nutrition to those to those lower income and poor Americans. There's all sorts of changes that no one's going to be happy with. The increased working obligations under Medicaid won't kick in till 2029. After this president's current term, there are congressional members who are saying we want it to kick in early. So it's all very much still up in the air, the budget. There will be changes, obviously, but we'll look at the budget. So also, there was a phone call between Putin and the current US president. I just want to see, does Putin want a ceasefire in Ukraine? I don't think he does. Why would he? America is now, under the MAGA government, is now supporting him. So why would he want that ceasefire? We'll just dig down a bit on that. So we're going to be looking at Putin. We're going to be looking at the budget. We'll also look at Israel starving the innocent people in Gaza. Yep, that's a standalone sentence. It's a fact, and it's a standalone sentence. There's no hidden things in that. It's stating a fact. And the UN has come out and says there are around 14,000 children who will die if food doesn't get in the next 48 hours. Europe, the UK has stepped up. I'm going to say things like warning of sanctions. The UK stopped negotiating a free trade deal with Israel, and they're putting maximum pressure. But where are the people of Israel? Why can't this be a non-starter where you starve children? All right. I don't think children should ever be casualties of war. Okay, that is a fact, not a fact. That's a belief and a hope that we should all agree on. And if we don't, there's something wrong. Okay, all right. Let's get going here. Let's go into Putin. How he was in that phone call. I also said, get ready, people, because there's a trade deal coming between the US and Russia. Yeah, that's how far we're coming with this. No peace deal, but a trade deal. And I think that prediction's going to turn out, unfortunately, to be correct. All right, so does Putin want a ceasefire in Ukraine? Does Putin want a ceasefire? Does Putin want a ceasefire in Ukraine? He may not want to invade the whole country, but he wants a regime change. He wants control of Ukraine, let's just put it like that. And he still believes he can get it. Okay, so does Putin want a ceasefire? Does he actually want a ceasefire? And when you're talking to someone who wants to invade Greenland and take over Canada and, then why would you be concerned that the MAGA-led American government would stand in your way? So we get the Hanged Man pausing. Okay, so he may want to pause, but he wants justice. Okay, so again we come back to what is his form of justice? How does he perceive justice? If Ukraine isn't under his control as a vassal state or, a proxy Russian government in it, then that is unjust to him. So we get justice here. The Six of Cups going back to the past, yeah. So he may want to stop Russian soldiers dying. He may want to kickstart his economy, which is in a pretty dire strait, very high inflation. He may want all of those things, but he wants these other things more, going back to the past. Support is in the past. Circles of support is in the past. We have the Three of Wands. He definitely wants trade, and he wants control and greater passage in the oceans around Ukraine. I guess it's the Black Sea and beyond. He wants control of Ukraine without actually fighting to take it all, but he also wants to kickstart his economy as well. The temperance and moderation and even-handedness here. So he says he's going to negotiate with Ukraine on one-on-one. There is some talk that there will be peace talks held in the Vatican. We in the present we have new starts, and then we have the sun here. So there is some sort of breakthrough coming. Maybe they agree on some of these things that he wants. The star, there's hope in the hopes and fears, but then we get the moon card. Yep, as I thought. So all of these things that I raise, that he may not want his soldiers to keep dying, he may not want to take the hits, the sanctions, the disengagement from Europe and supplying Europe with oil and gas, all of the things that they used to do. He may not want all of that. He may want his as I said, his economy kick-started. But he wants control of Ukraine one way or another. And when the Ukrainians have been fighting for their freedom for years and years and years, that's the bottom line. You can say, oh, there were, he said there were Nazis in those eastern states of Ukraine. He may justify all of that, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is the Ukrainians want their freedom from Russia, without a doubt, and Putin wants control. Okay, so we have money, the Ten of Pentacles, and we get the King of Swords, planning and strategizing. Ten of Rods, it's just a hard, So the moon card, is it a yes or no card? It's a no card. There's something around money here. The energy infrastructures are important in Ukraine, controlling those. He kind of wants everything, but without conquering the country. He wants it all without conquering the country. And what's happening now is the current president is actually allowing him to do that because he says, well, he's the victor. Ukraine or Zelensky has no cards. That's not the way that Europe sees it. And it's not the actual situation either. I don't know if many know that the Ukrainian army is one of the best, it is the best and strongest army aside from NATO, in Europe and the UK. Well, I don't know about the UK, but certainly in Europe. We have the Queen of Swords and the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands. So this there's players here. Obviously, that's the current president. The King of Wands I always read as Zelensky. There's money and resources here. So how is there going to be any sort of agreement made? I do believe they eventually do get to some sort of agreement, but he's going to want money, trade, all sorts of things for that, and I think potentially is going to push for I don't think he'll give up unless there's a regime change in Ukraine. Can the MAGA-led government actually negotiate in good faith? No, they can't at all. And this is why I think the MAGA-led government is bowing out of negotiations because you can see why there's been no agreement. Let's see if the Vatican, because there were some good cards in that. I don't know if future negotiations, whether they be in the Vatican or elsewhere, will there be any agreement? Will there be any agreement in future negotiations? Okay, yeah, there will be, because these cards don't exist for no reason at all. They tell a story, and there will be, I think, some sort of agreement. Small, though, not major. The King of Swords, planning and strategizing. What's in the sky? Yeah, it's very difficult to get this major wholesale ceasefire when you get the Devil card. But I do feel there's going to be a small breakthrough in some way. Just betrayal. Seven of Pentacles. I guess the Ukrainians would feel betrayed. America's just basically stepping back. MAGA-led America's just stepping back now. But there will be some sort of agreement, small, albeit small. Maybe there's a limited ceasefire. There's some kind of lifting of sanctions, worry and anxiety, and the Three of Cups. Yeah, Europe has more leverage here than what we think. I think Putin would like, even though they seem like mortal enemies, would like to trade again with the Europeans, with the West. So there is leverage there that the West actually has, and it looks like in some future agreement there's a small breakthrough. But they're the issues. Okay, all right. I just want to look at Israel now, and then we'll get on to some American, US topics. All right, well, oh God. I don't even know. I don't have any words anymore with Gaza and the suffering and the fact that the world has been impotent, that it can't stop anything. I've been so disappointed as a bystander. All right. Will the Gazan children get any sort of relief anytime soon? Will Gaza get any sort of relief anytime soon? It's a crossroads. When the UN says they're going to starve, they're not mucking about. It is a crossroads time. Three of Wands, ships coming in, so it looks like some supplies are going through. The Queen of Pentacles, stability. Yeah, it looks like they will. Hopefully. The Emperor here is in the past. Control. I wonder how much control Netanyahu actually does have. There's something hidden here that we can't see. The High Priestess. And we get the Knight of Pentacles. Consistent supply of aid, I think, is coming to Gaza. We have the Six of Wands. There could be decisions, a deal and negotiated. We could hear about it. It's not too far away. King of Pentacles in the hopes and fears. And then we get the Hermit, isolation, review, the Hermit card, and the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah. And the World, endings and new beginnings. This is a real test for the world and change, the Wheel of Fortune. So the Hermit card is not a straight out yes. So I'm assuming, and the Eight of Pentacles is not the full. It's like somebody who's learning. The world is learning, and we've got a ways to go. The September time frame is here. It looks like there will be some sort of breakthrough or deal done with Hamas. But there are things here we can't see. Families. And the Queen of Wands, yeah. So there will be some relief in the short term. It's not everything that is needed, but there will be some sort of consistent supply. The Five of Wands, partisanship, fighting, judgment, the inevitability, and the Devil card, toxicity, the difficulty again in this situation. So much for solving it within 48 hours or whatever it was of the November 7th election. All right, in the US, there will be a reprieve. There will be some sort of deal negotiated, I think, between Hamas and Israel. Again, reasonably, well, we'll hear about it in the sort of immediate future. There will be aid that is getting in. It will be sustainable. I don't think it's going to be cut off again. But it's not everything that they need. All right, let's move to the budget. It is an amended budget now, having secured certain changes. Will the amended budget, the tax cuts and the Medicaid cuts go through? SNAP cuts, all sorts of green programs abolished, rolled back. Yeah. Will the amended budget go through? Will the big beautiful bill as it's described? Will it go through with amendments? Okay. Will the budget go through, including those big tax cuts? Will the big tax cuts go through? This is the irresponsibility here. Will the amended budget, will a changed budget or budget with amendments, the tax cuts and Medicaid cuts go through? Whoa. Okay, so we have here the 10 of, looks like wands, suppression. So, yeah, this is what, I mean, anyone who's speaking out is being pilloried by the current president. But we have the rebel here, the rebel, the Emperor card. They're rebelling against suppression. There's going to be some big stuff in the Senate as well. I would hope that somebody would say something about the deficit. We get the 9 of Pentacles, ripeness. The 9 of Pentacles suggesting the tax cuts. But we have here, why there's a issue here is because Republicans themselves are rebelling. We have the 3 of Wands, experiencing. That's in the past. We're all experiencing. We have the new vision here in the sky. So this is the, what is this? The Hermit, is it? New vision? No, the Hanged Man, new vision. Oh, okay. All right, there's going to be substantial changes. Well, there's a potential for substantial changes. New vision, which is the Hanged Man being flipped upside down, having to look at something in a different way. The 10 of Pentacles, tax cuts, generational, the rich, the oligarchy. The 8 of Wands, travelling. So there's a speed here. Headlines, 3 of Pentacles, coming together, guidance. So the negotiations are really, that's all that's saying, are proceeding very, very quickly. And we have morality here. Morality, that's, I think, the King of Swords. That's in the hopes and fears. Morality. In the sky, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So it will get passed, but it's clarified by the Hierophant, which in this deck is no thingness. And then the Knight of Wands, intensity, moving quickly. And then the 5. The 5 of Cups, clinging to the past. Clinging to the past. So, are they learning? No. It looks like it will get through. Is everyone having to experience it because they're learning? Yes. The Fool card. We get the King. Sorry, that would have been the Queen of Pentacles. We get the Creator, the King of Wands, and the Fool card. And then we get politics, the 7 of Swords, lies, and more lies. Okay. So the question now is, what effect will the budget have on the financial stability of the US economy? What effect will raising the deficit, the tax cuts, because it looks like it gets through after some rebellion and changes, and this leads to a greater experience for everybody, perhaps not a good experience. What effect will the tax cuts adding to the deficit? What effect will increasing the deficit have on the US economy? Because this is where I think there might be an issue here for the current president. What effect will increasing the deficit have on the US economy, along with the tariffs, the volatility? What effect will this have? So we get the Six of Pentacles, increasing the debt, obviously, is there as the signifier, and there's a crossroads. Okay, so when we say, when Republicans who with any spine say, look, we should be managing our deficit, we shouldn't be increasing it to such an extent. This could have, with the downgrading of the US credit rating by Moody's, with investors in the US not wanting to invest because they're just not going to get the rate of return on their investment with this high deficit. It is a real crossroads. This is real. So we get the Queen of Swords in the as the foundation of the reading. Stability, truth. In the past, we get the Page of Pentacles. In the sky, we get the Four of Cups, disappointment. 3 cups lost, 1 remaining. I think there's going to be an immediate impact if these tax cuts go through. The deficit, the debt ceiling gets raised. There'll be an immediate. There already is an impact. So we get the Queen of Cups. It's like an unraveling here. The Four of Pentacles again. Not having its financial downturn, not having enough, and the Ten of Pentacles, the rich get richer. The Ace of Pentacles in the hopes and fears, the dollar. I think there's a fear, I don't know if it's an actual thing, but there's a fear the dollar will plummet. And then we get the Four of Wands, families, reunions. It's going to hit families very hard. There's the Tower card. So this is tied up not only with the current president's grifting, but this is tied up with the management of the economy and the budget and the tax cuts. It's all kind of the one thing. That's where the Tower is. It's going to impact very, very, very much on families. And we have the blank card here. Because this is an all from a spiritual point of view, an experience that we're all having, the Eight of Cups, loss is clarifying that blank card. So there is the real potential for a great deal of loss here. Now, this is probably nothing that you don't already know. I kind of think that. Well, I think that you all understand this. Okay, the Nine of Cups and the King of Pentacles. He gets his wish. The Queen of Wands and the Five of Swords, abuse. And the Ten of Swords, complete and utter downfall. Losing support and losing it very, very quickly. Okay, so that's something to look forward to. I'm being sarcastic. All right. Okay, so I think that this year, and perhaps around August, September, is somewhere in terms of the financial struggle is a month that this will get worse. I feel that this year is going to be very, very telling for the MAGA-led government. And moving into 2026 with the midterms coming up, you can expect the volatility and support dwindling, obviously, and then looking to the Democratic Party to try and clean up the mess in the midterms. Okay, so, all right, so what do we need to know right now? What do we need to know? Some of you have asked, what will I do a reading on President Joe Biden's, former President Joe Biden's health? No. Why would I? The treatment it's supposed to be treatable, but he's an elderly man. My father passed from exactly the same disease in the same progression, went to his bones, hormone responsive, all of that. And he had about 4 to 5 years after he was diagnosed, but he was diagnosed at a younger age than former President Biden. So what is the point? We know that obviously this will take his life. Is there any point to look at when did they know? I've said I don't think there's any point going back over the past. I feel that he probably had major health problems from around December, January 2023. Did everybody actually know? I don't know. And should I read on that? I don't think so. We'll let him have his peace that he so deserves. Okay. All right. So, what do we need to know? That's what we certainly need to have compassion. All right. What do we need to know, please? What do we need to know for the collective? What do we need to know? Okay, so we have here the Six of Wands, success. And then we have the Ten of Swords, rebirth. So once this chapter, this experience finishes in all its despair and sadness and, many of us would say it's unnecessary, but then, we are a collective. And real change comes when the majority gets on board. The Ten of Swords would say that you are moving toward a transformation in the future. We are as a collective. We have here the Source, which is the Ace of Wands. Beautiful, isn't it? The Sun, who we are. I am who we are, is at the center of all of this. And so you will see, rather than a regression back to where we've come from over the last few years, you will see a rebirth. And that's a good thing. That's something we can take heart in. We have the Empress, the inner voice. Sorry, the High Priestess, the inner voice, is in the past. And so the High Priestess, using our subconscious, when we have our hopes for the future, they reside in our subconscious, and it's up to us to bring them forward into consciousness, listening to our inner voices. We have judgment. The Moon. I shouldn't try and convert these cards. The Moon card, which is past lives in this deck. Past lives, learning, evolution, time. Projections, the Seven of Cups, projections. That really sums up in a lot of ways what is actually going on. There's a lot of projecting going on at this time. Accusations and projections, and then we see what is a projection. Well, the person who's projecting ends up doing the thing that they're projecting onto others. The Five of Wands in this deck is the totality of the experience. Five of Wands is all about division, competition, but it is the totality of what we can experience as human beings. Three of Wands, experiencing, is in the atmosphere around. We have the King of Swords, control again. Control. That's an interesting thing. Not in a negative sense, controlling, but it is more adequately controlling our experiences through the benefit of hindsight, through the benefit of experiencing. And we have the Five of Swords, comparison. There's no bamboo versus the tree, comparing. The Five of Swords is traditionally in the Rider-Waite, talks about abuse of power or freedom from abuse, freedom from comparison. The Seven of Wands, stress, when we compare, when we want what others have even, when we're not satisfied with what we have. And then we get conditioning, the Strength card. Oh, sorry, this is the Devil. I shouldn't say that. It's the Devil card. Okay, so, wow. Look at these cards. This is like a life's lesson here. Past lives, evolution, comparison, abuse of ourselves, abuse of others, sabotaging our efforts. The tree is not the bamboo is not the tree, yet they serve very important functions. The stress, trying to defend oneself, and then we get the Devil card, conditioning, because that's the way we've been conditioned. This is like a whole, and then we get the Star card, silence, listening, experiencing listening, having the hope that we can come through and create that better world. And then we get the mind here. I guess in some ways not being a prisoner of the mind, but allowing it unfettered, to be unfettered, possibilities, something coming to fruition in time. And then we have abundance here, which happens to be the King of Pentacles. Interesting, isn't it, that we are experiencing one set of values which is leading us nowhere, and through it experiencing the consequences of our actions. And more people are tuning in here, the Four of Cups. More and more people are learning. And we get the Six of Pentacles, learning to compromise. Seven of Pentacles, learning to be patient and learning to come together. The Lover's card. Through awareness, greater awareness. This is the Chariot. Greater awareness and understanding are really unfolding in a very quick way. This is rapid development through experience. All right, thank you for tuning in, and bye for now.